Hey VC guys and gals, it's TC here. I'm here to do my first ever yearly vinyl tag. Vinyl tag 2021 started by Andrew at Tales from the Crate. 20 questions, some of them are not going to be the best I can do, but I'll try my best anyway, because some of them I'm not sure about, but we'll give them a shot anyway. Just looking, I've been watching a whole bunch of other ones, and you guys know how I am, so I'm going to be so much different than everybody else, but we'll give it a shot here. A discovery in 2020. I'm going to cheat here. My discovery is the vinyl community. I didn't know you guys were out there until I was looking around online for some stuff and happened to stumble across Frank over at Channel 33 at RPM, and then started looking around and found all these great people. So my discovery for myself was the vinyl community and getting involved. I'll have some more on artists I discovered or really like coming soon on another video. Quarantine buy. Everything. I haven't bought vinyl for 30 years. I bought a few 45s here and there just to add to my collection and a couple of albums, but I haven't seriously bought vinyl since the late 80s. And I mean, of the last 20 years, I bought exclusively pretty much on DVD, on CD or MP3, which is why you're going to get some Magic Box stuff up here, because I don't have everything on vinyl. But everything I bought this year was a quarantine buy, and I'm not going to pick just one. So, there you go. Because I bought like 200 things this year. An LP I want to find in 2021. I've got two. One's an all-time grail, and the other is a new grail. The all-time grail is the 12-inch promo single for the 1986 song Roll It by Jimmy Salvamini. I've been looking for this for 30 plus years now, since it came out. Never could find the 12-inch. I don't know that I don't think it was commercially released. I think it was only done as a promo. But this particular promo single of his title track from his album features a rap by Paul Pee Wee Herman Rubens, which I've never heard, and I'd like to hear it. So I'm still looking for that. Another album I'd like to find this year, if I can find it at a decent price, is the Record Store Day release of Philip Glass's Koyaanisqatsi. I couldn't find it. There was only 1,500 copies, and I didn't grab one on Record Store Day October. So I tried. Oh, I tried. Everybody knows I tried. The best I could do was the Chipmunks parody thing. But I would like that, but I'm not paying $150 for it. I don't think it's worth that much. I'm the only one that's going to listen to it. So there you go. A box set. I bought a box set this year. And I guess it's sort of a box set. It's more of a deluxe set. It is Rhino's Forever Young Super Deluxe Limited Edition from Alphaville. I love the original of this album. This has 2 LPs and 3 CDs, I think. Right? 3 CD plus a DVD plus an LP. I haven't broken it open yet because my turntable isn't here and my CD player isn't set up, and I don't really like playing them on the computer because it's a pain. But I will be as soon as it gets here, because I've always loved this album, and when I saw Rhino had this in this huge deluxe version for $70, I'm like, I'm gonna grab that, because Big in Japan, Forever, and 2 of my favorite songs of the 80s. So that's my box set. Concept album. How about Styx? Kilroy was here. This is a great concept album that actually predates the Parents Music Resource Center by a number of years. This was mostly triggered by backward masking freakouts in the early 80s. Great album. Of course, Mr. Roboto was huge off this album. So was Don't Let It End, I think, is on here. Great stuff. And their last studio album with this lineup, the only album they would do more with this lineup was the live album. So from 1980, I forget if it's 83 or 84, Styx and Kilroy was here, concept album. An album where an artist or band changed directions. Time for Mr. Magic Box up here. Garth Brooks and the Life of Chris Gaines. This could not have been a bigger change in direction ever. It started off as the soundtrack from a proposed film called The Lamb, where Garth would play this rock star who was being assailed by a stalker. They recorded the album. The album came out. The album tanked. And the film was abandoned. They did a TV special, a Behind the Life, they called it, not Behind the Music, for Chris Gaines. He hosted Saturday Night Live and performed as Chris Gaines on a show. Never went very far. It's a shame because it's a great album. I think it's one of his best, In the Life of Chris Gaines from Garth Brooks. White label promo. I don't have very many, but I did buy Lisa Hartman's debut album this year from a Discog seller, and it is a white label from Kirshner Records, 1976. Love Lisa Hartman, she's awesome. Compilation album. I got to thinking, should I do a greatest hits or should I do an actual true compilation album? And then I remembered I have this, and I'll bet not very many people in the States have this. Now that's what they call music. This is the original, the very first one released. This is a UK pressing. I got it when I was working at Buzzard's Nest Records in Lancaster, Ohio in 1984. I don't think it was ever released in this exact form in the US, but this is the original parent of the Now series in both England and the US. It includes Phil Collins, Duran Duran, Lamal, Heaven 17, Howard Jones, Human League, Tina Turner, Tracy Ullman, Genesis, Mike Oldfield, Men at Work, Madness, among others. There's a total of 30 songs on this album. Great compilation album. The original, it's a gatefold with pictures and info about each of the artists. Now that's what they call music. Compilation album. A song that tells a story, or a song you have an album you have a story about. All right. Summer of 1975, late spring, maybe late spring 1975. I lived in Lake Bay, Washington, which was out on the Olympic Peninsula, and every 2 or 3 weeks or so we'd go into Tacoma for shopping and stuff, and there was a little record store on 6th Avenue, not that far from the Narrows Bridge. I can't remember the name of the store. I can remember what the clerk looked like. He always, every time I went in there, he had khakis on and a little beard and mustache. So one day, late May, early June, I walked into that store with my money that I saved up over the last few weeks and picked up a few things. This was the album I picked up, John Denver's Wind Song, which was brand new at the time. I'm Sorry and Calypso were just starting to hit the chart at the time. This wasn't what freaked the clerk out, though. What freaked the clerk out was a rather chubby 12-year-old, I was 12 at the time, putting this on the counter, along with 45s of Walking in Rhythm by the Blackbirds, The Last Farewell by Roger Whittaker, and I want to say some country song, I forgot what, and the clerk just did a triple take. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I have a feeling I kind of ruptured a vein or something in his head from the different types of music I was getting. So, a story about Wind Song by John Denver from 1975. Albums that need a vinyl pressing, I have 2 of them. And again, Magic Box here. The first one is the 1992 heavy metal album by the rock band Bad for Good, Refugee. Refugee is one of the coolest hair metal band albums of all time, featuring Danny Cooksey, who of course would go on to do, I mean, he was already known as a child star, but he had a whole bunch of great voiceover work that continues to this day. And then, yeah, Thomas McRocklin, who disappeared for a few years after he left the band. Now he's back as the leader of McRocklin and Hutch, 2 huge YouTube channels doing all kinds of music sales. Great, great stuff. You have Zach Young, who had a Vine channel that was a hit a few years ago, and also was the drummer for AI, a band he was in with his brother for a while, and the legendary Brooks Wackerman, who has played drums for Suicidal Tendencies, Infectious Grooves, I don't know how many different bands, and they were all between 11 and 14 when they did this album, produced by Steve Vai. It is terrific, and it produced two of the best hair metal ballads of all time. Nothing's Great About a Heartache and Slow and Beautiful. The 30th anniversary of the release of this album is coming up next year, and I think it's high time we get a vinyl pressing of it, maybe with an extra disc that includes the uncensored version of Felony and a few other tidbits here and there, because I don't know anybody that's a heavy metal fan that doesn't love that album if they've heard it. It's just terrific. Steve Vai's production, Danny Cooksey's top-notch vocals. It's great. Like to see that out on vinyl. Completely to the other opposite end, it's time we had a vinyl release of the solo album from Karen Carpenter. Karen Carpenter's album didn't come out until 1996 because Richard didn't want it out after she passed away. A lot of people like it. It's a good album. It's not a great album. I almost kind of agree with their reasoning for not putting it out in 1980. But there are some top-notch songs on there, especially her disco-tinged hit, My Body Keeps Changing My Mind, which seems to be the big fan favorite on the album. Plus original versions of Make Believe It's Your First Time, which would be on Voice of the Heart as re-recorded by Karen for the Made in America sessions, I think it was. That it didn't get included. There's some terrific stuff. And Richard's solo album Time is out on vinyl as well as CD. So it's time Karen's was too. So Bad for Good, Refugee, Karen Carpenter's Karen Carpenter. Let's get those out on vinyl soon. Common and uncommon album. Everybody seems to have their own idea about this category, so I'm going to follow in that footsteps. Common, most common album, one of the most common albums of all time, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Love this album. Michael's true peak, I think, as a performer and as a writer and artist. Great stuff. Will always be a classic, and you never can get enough of it. An uncommon album, I think B-Sides probably had something similar to this, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll go that way. This is February 9th, 1971, the San Fernando Valley's longest day. This is KGIL radio's coverage of the 71 earthquake in the Los Angeles area. It is terrific. I got it because it was on sale for $1 at a yard sale, and I didn't know it was out there. It's truly history on vinyl, and it is out there. If you've never heard it, if you're a historical person, this is something to grab. So Uncommon, February 9th, 1971, as reported by KGIL Radio. An EP, Magic Box again, the Celebrity EP by the Ready Set. Love this EP. What Jordan Witzegruder did here on his EP is write 4 songs about 4 celebrities, and some of them were great, and a couple of them were questionable. There was For the Better, which was a song for Taylor Swift, My Rushmore, a tribute to Bill Murray, The Bees, a tribute to Nicolas Cage, I wonder why, and Enamel, which is one of Jordan's best songs ever, tribute to Nina Dobrev and the Vampire Diaries. Enamel is one of Jordan's best songs. It's like in my top 3 songs by him. Terrific song, well written. I mean, his dance pop is terrific. And Jordan, who's now recording as only child, he switched from the Ready Set last year, is just one of the most creative people on the planet, and I love his stuff, and that album was terrific. So an EP, the Celebrity EP, available only on MP3 by the Ready Set. Girl group, I don't have anything by these guys on anything but MP3 either, and that's the Runaways. I keep hearing people talk about the Go-Go's and a few other things. Oh man, Joan Jett, Lita Ford, I mean, Cherie Currie, how do you not put them at the top of the girl group list? I have the greatest hits on MP3. Love that. Love the movie they made a few years ago with Kristen Stewart and Dakota Fanning. Terrific stuff. The Runaways are just classic. I mean, Cherry Bomb out there, always. And they've gone on to bigger and better, better things. Joan Jett, with the Blackhearts, did a number of big hits. Lita Ford's gone on to do big things. Cherie Currie has been out there. She hasn't been recording since the early 80s, but she's still out there. Unfortunately, Sandy West passed away, and Jackie Shaw, is that her last name? I can't remember her last name. It was still out there for a while, too. Love the Runaways. They were terrific. An album cover you love. I really had problems with that one. Well, just because it's here, and just because I just got it, and it's a great cover. Endless Summer, the Beach Boys. Great gatefold artwork of them. And it's always said fun to me. I've never had this album before until recently. I also bought the CD recently. It should be coming. But I love the artwork, and it always puts me in mind of summer and Beach Boys music whenever I see it in a store or on TV. Terrific stuff. An album I've listened to more than any other. Okay, gonna be laughing here, but that's okay. When I went to school, I went to high school and junior high in a small town called Harrington, Washington. It's 55 miles southwest of Spokane. You know, life in a small town, 500 people in the town, can get kind of tedious when all the kids in your school that you go to school with are into Kiss and heavy metal, and you're listening to Barry Manilow, the Carpenters, and disco, and ABBA. I could not have made it through high school without this album, Star Wars and Other Galactic Funk by Miko. This came out when I was a freshman. I listened to this album so much, I actually had to buy a second copy. So that's I got so trashed, I couldn't stand it. This is the original. I actually used the second copy more than I used this one, just because I wanted to protect it at the time. Although, you know, it's kind of worn, and I used it a lot, and it does still have its original sleeve though, which is unusual for me at the time. This album never fails to put me in a good mood. I love it, and it might be hokey to some people. I know a couple people who just think it's the worst trash on the planet. Yeah, your mileage may vary, but I love it. Miko. Gonna pass on the album I had to get an OG copy of because I'm in it for the music and the songs. Having OG is good. You know, I like it. It's great. But necessarily, absolutely jonesing for an OG, I don't do that very often. I've got a few Grails here and there that I like, and even those I got represses on sometimes. But I have them on vinyl now, and that's what counts. The last album I purchased, I actually was going to have to use Magic Box for this, but one of the two albums I just ordered showed up yesterday, so now I don't have to do that. I have two albums currently on order that are current. The album that's going to be in Magic Box is Flowers for You by Sawyer Fredericks. I adore him. I own both of these on MP3 already, but I wanted to get the vinyl. Flowers for You from Sawyer Fredericks, his latest album. If you guys are not into Sawyer Fredericks, why the hell not? This guy is just one of the most intense, incredible singer-songwriters out there right now. Don't be put off by the fact that he won season 6 or season 7 of The Voice. He's 22 now, or 21 or 22. He is an amazing songwriter, an amazing vocalist, and definitely check him out. The other one that did arrive yesterday is another talent show winner, somebody that everybody should know, Jesse Kench. This album is I'm Not Like Everybody Else. I'm Not Like Anybody Else, sorry. No, it is Everybody Else. I have it written down wrong here. Jesse won the only season of ABC's talent show Rising Star in 2014. It was clear from the very beginning he was going to win because the man is incredible. At 20 years old, he blew my socks off. He's 26 now. This album came out in 2018. If you're on Long Island, and you go to clubs, you may know who he is. But right now, he seems to be a really well-kept secret. Not just for his covers of I Got a Spell on You and Chris Cornell's version of Billie Jean, but he writes some incredibly beautiful originals, and it's a shame that Curb Records and him could not make this a hit because it was terrific. please listen to this on Spotify, on Amazon Music, if you haven't heard it, and buy it because it's worth it. Jesse Kench, I'm not like everyone else. An album they don't get. Okay, gonna go back and cheat on this. Garth Brooks in the Life of Chris Gaines. Let me tell you why. I'm not a big Garth Brooks fan. It took me a while to actually warm up to the guy. I didn't actually become a fan of his until In Pieces. No. Is that the one with the Red Strokes on it? The fourth album. I had heard We Shall Be Free and I liked it before that, but I wasn't a big fan. And then that fourth album came out, and I was playing it all the time at the record store. And then I heard John Brennan do a couple of his songs when he was a person on the Real World back when he was a kid. He's in his 40s now. So I eventually warmed up to Garth. But In the Life of Chris Gaines came out when I was working for DiscJockey.com, an online internet radio station. I worked my ass off trying to get him to come in or at least a phoner. I couldn't do it. It's a shame because we all loved the album. Lost in You hit #1 on our request chart. This album is so different, and it doesn't sound like Garth on most of the songs. And I really think that people just were so like, oh, God, what is he doing? Because they tried to sell the persona too quickly before the movie was supposed to be ready. The album remains my favorite Garth Brooks album, and I love how different it is from all of his country stuff. If you've not heard it, listen to it. If you have heard it and think I'm full of it, let me know in the comments. If you have heard it and agree, really let me know in the comments, because it's a great album, and I think people really give it the shaft. A punk album, or the closest thing you have to it. I talked about this on Thanksgiving turkeys. I don't own much punk. This is actually Psychobilly, but Psychobilly. I forget what they call this, but it's the only thing I have, and I only have the cassette, and I don't have access to it. But I do have the picture, and I do have the song on the computer, obviously. The album is called Super Sadomasochistic Expialidocious. It's by the Michigan trio Elvis Hitler. The only reason I got it was for the incredibly thrash Psychobilly cover of Yummy, Yummy, Yummy. I love that song. The rest of the album I really don't listen to that much. I love their cover of that. It's just hilarious. But it's the only thing I have that's even close to punk. I'm sorry. I don't even have the Ramones. I have the Ramones on MP3, but I don't have any albums by them. To favorite 2020 reissue, I'm going to cheat here too. Record Store Day, August. Alternate Rumors, Fleetwood Mac. Always love this album. The original album. I have not had a chance to hear this yet because, as people know, who know me, I do not have my turntable yet. Oh, that's good. Gotta watch what I'm doing. That was really good. I don't have my turntable yet. Hold it so you can see the actual label. There you go. Not drop the album, dumbass. I love the original album, and I can't wait to hear this when my turntable gets here. It's going to be the first thing that goes on because I've been waiting since I got it to hear it. So that's my Vinyl Tag 2021. It's fun to be a part of this. I hope everybody will get a kick out of what I do here because this is so much different stuff than what everybody else is probably doing. I see a lot of metal and a lot of obscure metal out there on some of these other ones. I love watching those. It gives me all kinds of new stuff to listen to, and I hope I've done that for you too. Andrew, thanks for the great Vinyl Tag questions, and I hope you like my site, and I hope you will, everyone else who is watching will like and subscribe my channel and click that bell and give me a thumbs up. Okay? Until next time, I'm TC. Bye-bye.